this segment, we're going to be creating an HR action. HR actions are used to make a request to make changes to the data within Workforce Go. To begin, we're going to click on the stacked menu icon, or burger icon if you will, in the upper left corner. Click on that, then click on Settings, HR Setup, and HR Actions. Within the HR Actions screen, you'll see existing HR actions. Several come with the system and others may have been created for you. If you're creating an HR action that is close to one that already exists, you can use the Clone HR Actions option here. This will make a copy of that HR action, then you can modify that copy as needed. Add, remove fields, save it as a new name. In this situation, we're going to create one from scratch, so we're going to click on the Add New button in the upper right corner. When you do that, this question window will pop up and you see we've got two drop downs here. The HR Actions type has two options. My Employee Action Request, which is used when a manager is requesting to make changes to one of their employees' data, a job or a pay change information, or My Information Action Request, which is where an employee may ask to make changes to their information, update their emergency contact or their address. In this situation, since we're doing a promotion form, we're going to select My Employee Action Request. We're going to leave the subtype as regular. Once we're done with that, we can click OK, and that will open up the HR Actions window where we can start defining our new HR action. In the new HR Action window, we're going to give our action a name. In this case, we're simply going to call it Promotion. The type is preset. We're going to assign the workflow we created earlier, or in this case, it's that promotion workflow. And again, the workflow determines the path or the process this action needs to take in order to be effectively completed. Down in the screen message, this is where you can provide instructions to the initiator as to how they need to initiate this form. So for this one, it's simply, please complete the information below, and when ready, submit for approval. So we've got our top section done. Now we need to identify the data elements for this HR action that we want to include. In this case, we're going to make it a very simple one. We're going to change default job and base compensation. So a promotion, they're changing their job and they're changing their pay. To do that, we're going to click on the Add Action item in the upper right corner. And you can see here we've got Group to Add To. So in this case, we're going to create a new group, and we're going to call this one Job Information. So new group, and then we want to change our default job. So if I type DEF in the Start With drop down, you can see we've got starts with, like, equals. I'm going to use default, and when I hit enter there, you'll see that any fields that start with DEF pop up. So the one we want is default job. We've got our new group set. We're going to add selected items. So now we've got our job information group and our default job field here. And what we want to do once we've assigned this field is click on the edit option here, and you can see we've got these HR action items. Now on this one, you can require it. In this case, if it's going to be a promotion and the job is going to change, in my mind it would, we can require that so they make a change. And then we can override security restrictions. And what this does is by default, the manager group may not have access to change default job just within the system. They can't just go in and change somebody's default job. So to override the security here, because we're going to run this through a workflow where it's required that they get approval to make that change, we're going to override that. They can change that job, submit the action, get the approval from their manager or director, whatever it might be, and then process the change. So all it's doing is saying, hey, you can make the change here because we're requiring approval down the road. Then we click Save. And now we want to add the compensation information to this as well. Add an action item. Again, we're going to do a new group here because I want to separate those out into separate steps within the action. We'll call this one Pay Information. So new group starts with, and this one's going to be base compensation, base, enter, base compensation, add selected items. We've got a new group down here, Pay Information now. Same process on base compensation. I'm going to require it on mine just because I'm saying, hey, for a promotion, you're changing both. And again, we're going to override the security restrictions for the same purpose as we did on the job. And then click Save. So we're good. Very simple form, job, pay information for a promotion change. And then we can click Save here. Once we click Save, we've got our set information here, but we want to apply security here, and applying security makes this form available to the people that we grant access basically. So when I click apply security, you can see this pop up. We've got company administrators would have access by default, but we want this available to the manager to initiate and choose the effective from dates for this. So I click Save. And when this is done, then this form is saved and available now to managers from their HR Actions screen. And we'll look at that later. Click OK for saved, save again, and we've got our HR action out there now for our promotion.